All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have a story straight out of New York. Brooklyn is be specific. They say two 13-year-old girls were found dead recently. I believe this happened yesterday morning on top of an NYC train after subway surfing at 3 a.m. And ladies and gentlemen, I just can't believe that people are still doing this in this day and age. After all the videos, all the reports, all the news stories, all the deaths that have happened within the last 4 years of, all kinds of people, even adults, kids, teenagers, adults, trying to act like Spider-Man by riding on the top of trains, the subway trains in New York City, acting like they're invincible with no fall damage in a Call of Duty match with unlimited respawns. Like, this is not a game. This is not a GTA lobby where if you die or if you get shot or if you fall, boink your head and die, that you just automatically get to come back, respawn, and try again. That's just not how that works. This is real life. And for those of you who are pretty much virgins to what subway surfing is and you really don't know what it is, here's a brief example of what it is.
A warning tonight about the deadly dangers of so-called subway surfing in New York City. Yesterday, an 11-year-old boy died trying to surf a subway car.
So yeah, you could pretty much see these idiots on top of a New York City, or this could possibly be in Chicago because they have similar subway lines. But as you can see, these idiots are literally on top of the train, subway surfing as they call it. But in reality, it's just a bunch of idiots on a train with no ability to foresee the consequences of their actions. It's as if they don't see the possibility of them possibly falling and dying. Like, they're literally acting like this shit is a pogo stick or a trampoline in the back of their backyard where they're jumping up and down, having a blast. And if they just so happen to fall over and boink their head, at least they land in some soft grass or maybe a little bit of pavement. But no, if they fall off this train, they're cooked. It's pretty much GG's. They're gonna have a little nice chat with the Undertaker. Yeah, so guys, ladies, that's pretty much what that is. And you can see a victim here of the subway surfing incidents that happened within the last 2 or 3 years. This guy, I think part of his skull, his brain matter actually was destroyed when he hit his head on some kind of metal railing that was passing over the train as he was subway surfing. He didn't see the railing, apparently. He didn't duck in time and hit his head. He miraculously survived. And now it's like a quarter of his fucking skull, his brain is missing. And essentially, that is what a lot of idiot kids in NYC have been doing lately, and unfortunately it led to the death of 2 teen girls as reported by the New York Post. One just 13 found dead on Brooklyn train in suspected subway surfing incident, cops say. 2 teenage girls, including a 13-year-old, were killed in what police believe was a horrific subway surfing tragedy on a Brooklyn train, officials said Saturday. The latest incident brings the total number of subway surfing victims so far this year to 5, police said, nearing the 2024 total of 6 fatalities and matching the 5 people killed in the stunts in 2023. And believe me, the year is not over yet, and I'm pretty sure for this Halloween season, there's likely going to be a lot more idiot kids trying to get up on these trains, trying to subway surf and be cool for the adrenaline rush, recording themselves, posting it to their snaps and IGs. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple more kids die this year off of this trend. The article also goes on to say, in the latest deaths, cops were called at 3:10 a.m. in the morning to the Marcy Avenue Broadway subway station in Williamsburg, where they found the girls unconscious and unresponsive on top of the Brooklyn Brown, sources say. And here, as you can see, is an image of a couple of cops here. For people not watching but listening, cops at the crime scene talking to a couple of kids with a backpack on, and I suppose they were either friends or witnesses to the situation. Here, as we can see, a couple of firefighters and cops carrying out a body bag with, I suppose, one of the girls in the body bag. The second victim is believed to be between 13 and 18 years old, the sources say, and I quote, "It's heartbreaking that 2 young girls are gone because they somehow thought riding outside a subway train was an acceptable game," end quote. NYC Transit President Demetrius Critchlow said in a statement. He also said, "Parents, teachers, and friends need to be clear with loved ones. Getting on top of a subway car isn't surfing. It's the S word that rhymes with cyanide." He continued, "I'm thinking of both the grieving families and transit workers who discovered these children, all of whom have been horribly shaken by this tragedy." And I just gotta say, listen, at this point, after all, like I said, news stories, the publications, the media document, everything that's gone viral about these deaths, of which pretty much most people in NYC have heard of, they've seen, or, are aware of. If any of those individuals continue and persist to get on public public transit, subway trains, and still want to take the chance to play with their life, take the gamble of possibly slipping off a train or boinking their head by a metal object hovering above the train as it's passing below, then hey, at that point, it's pretty much Darwinism. It's natural selection at that point, because so certain people just cannot be talked to. They just don't listen. There's no reasoning with them. There's no common sense. And mind you, these were both teenagers, according to the article. One was 13 and the other victim is speculated to be between 13 and 18 years old. So both young victims, both girls. Now, where do they see this trend? How did they get on top of the train? Were they dared to do it, or did they want to both do it to post to Snap or Instagram? Were they following the trend, or were they under the influence of drugs? Like, unfortunately, both of them are dead. So now we don't know why they did what they did, but we can safely assume it's because of the large trend in NYC and social media in general, the chase for clout, clicks, views, etc.
This woman says it's shocking to hear 2 more lives have been lost to subway surfing. You have seen kids doing this before?
Yes, a couple of years back, we saw 2 kids right here in this station.
Subway surfing is a dangerous stunt in which people attempt to surf or lie down on top of moving subway cars.
They've been doing it for years, and they continue doing it. They see what's going on, and they still do it, so it's just not.
See, even the local NYC residents, they've seen this for years. I've seen it for years. It's been my job over the years to literally talk about this stuff, right? There have been by the way, YouTube documentaries made about this type of stuff. Even from people like Tommy G on YouTube, the subway surfers of New York, he says. At this point in time, my sympathy meter, my sympathy reservoir it's tapped out. It's dried. Unfortunately, I don't know what else to say. We live in a day and age where a lot of these young individuals, they don't want to listen. They're rebellious. Nobody can tell them what to do or how to do things, So, hey, at this point in time, what can you really do? The subways are always going to be running like pretty much 24/7. You can't surveil potentially tens of thousands of kids in a big ass city like NYC and stop all of them from getting on top of a train. It's just literally impossible. The amount of resources it would take a task force to literally dedicate using taxpayer funded money to stop kids from getting on top of trains to quote unquote subway surfing would just take millions and millions of dollars per year. And I just don't see how it's feasible. The quickest solution for all this to stop, in my opinion, is for parents to actually parent their kids. Like, first of all, according to the story, they were out at 3:10 a.m. in the morning. Like, why are 13-year-old girls outside at 3:10 a.m. in the morning when there's all kinds of sharks, bulldogs, predators out here lurking, bro? Especially in Brooklyn at Marcy Avenue, Broadway. Does that make any sense? As you can see here, here's what Marcy Avenue looks like, right? In Brooklyn. I'm here on the Google Maps in real time. You can see it looks kind of rough. I grew up in places like this, like a lot of bad stuff you can get robbed, you can get jumped, you can get mugged, you can get potentially raped. And this is the stairwell they took to get to the train station, I suppose, to hop up on these trains. You can see here, this is where the trains run above, like for anybody unfamiliar with this type of terrain. Here, as you can see, is a closer look of the platform below, right, as you're gonna go up the stairwell to get to the trains. And here, as you can see, is the entry point of where you have to actually pay to get to the platform, but a lot of people just skip. And here, as you can see, is the actual platform for when you actually get up, or if you pay or skip. Trains will occasionally they'll pass by here, and depending on where you're going, depending on the line you want to take, and this is where kids typically get on top of the trains, right? Like, it's crazy. It really is. Like, genuinely speaking, it feels like a lot of people nowadays, regardless of age, just have no like survival skills whatsoever, and it's like they lack the ability to see, in present time, to project their thoughts into the future, to foresee a predictable outcome of their actions. It's like the idea of predicting an outcome is so abstract to so many people that they just end up doing dumb shit like this. And the only moment they realize that this was really dumb is that moment when they realize that they're fucked because they start slipping off the train. And the only way out of this is through death. There's no way. You're done. Unless Spider-Man and Superman comes to swoop you up and save the day, you're fucked. Excuse my language, but for lack of better words, Anyways, though, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think about this story? I'm pretty sure the comment section is gonna have a general consensus that this was dumb, and hey, I suppose these people can't be saved, right? There's nothing, you can't force certain individuals to do certain things that they don't want to do, unfortunately. That said, we're gonna be back with another story very soon. Not sure if this is gonna be going up on Spotify or Apple Podcast. We'll see. But yeah, until next time, Everybody, catch you in the next one.